Alright, so today what we're going to go on with is chainsaw maintenance, being that it is going to be changing a chain and also how to tension it. But before we do that, what I want to acknowledge is the custodians of the land that we're doing the training on today. They're the elders and the First Nation people, past and present, on the land that we are actually doing the training on today. So what we're going to do, like I said, is the chainsaw maintenance component being changing a chain and tensioning it. The reason you do this is while you're cutting, your chain may come loose and you may need to tension it up, or in the unlikely case, it has come so loose that it'll actually flick the chain off. So we need to be able to rectify that. So some of the safety aspects for this lesson we need to take into consideration, and the tools we're going to need is you will need the chainsaw, which we do have in front of us, Sam. Okay, yours is a 261 series, mine is a 461. There's small differences in other componentry, but when we get to the tensioning and of the chain and removing and putting a new chain on, it's exactly the same. Now you will need a scrunch, which you have, and a pair of gloves. They are the safety aspect that you will require. So when you're playing with the chain, you should always wear gloves because they are sharp. Okay. In the unlikely event that we have a fire in the hall, okay, the form-up point is just out the door to the to your right, and we'll go out onto the street just to the left there, and we'll wait for the form-up. Okay. The toilet amenities, if you need to use them, is just around the corner to the left there, and that is pretty much it. Any questions?
No questions.
Okay, cool. All right, so what we're going to go on with now, I'm going to go through a full demonstration of the chain being changed and then tensioning. Okay, so just watch me do that, and then I'll actually get you to do that with an explanation. And then we'll go through the practice, part of it, the practical part of it, and then we'll see how we go. All right. So first things first. What we're going to do is you put the chain brake on. So the chain brake is off. To engage the chain brake, you just roll your wrist to the right and you push it forward. Okay, so that means the chain brake is on. Okay, you then go to your side nuts here on the side cover, and you loosen them off anti-clockwise, lefty loosey, righty tighty for these. Okay, and you actually take them, loosen them all the way off. So you use your T-spanner, which is this thing, T-spanner, or I commonly know it as a scrunch. That's North American terminology, so if I say scrunch, I mean the T-spanner. Okay, so with the 400 series, my nuts, side nuts actually come off. Yours will actually, on the 260s, will actually be part of the side cover and don't come off. Okay? The beautiful thing with yours is they actually don't get lost when you're out in the field. When you're out in the field and you actually have to take the side cover off with these, they can actually get lost. And they can actually come loose and fall off. So that's one of the things. Okay, so then to get the side cover off, okay, just pull it out and away from the bar and chain. And as you can see, there's the bar and chain. Okay, I will put my gloves on now before I start playing with it. Some good looking gloves. Okay, and so to get it off, you've got the sprocket here. The chain is actually held onto the sprocket, and it's on the tension post as well. So you pull that off the tension post, pull the bar away from the tension post, and then the chain off the sprocket at the rear here, and the chain and bar comes off, like so. Okay, then you would actually put your new chain on. Okay, then when you put your bar back on, what you want to do is actually put it upside down, flip it over, because then it actually wears at at the same rate. So it reduces the wear and tear on your chainsaw, or mainly on your bar of the chainsaw. Okay, so then you got your chain And then to make sure that your chain is on correct and facing the right way, I use the Santa Claus method, which is the tooth of the chain actually has the raker at the front and then the actual tooth at the back. The tooth at the back is where Santa's presents are, and then the raker is actually the front of the sled. And if the sled is going out away from the power head, then you actually have the chain on the right way, being on the top of the bar. Okay, so then in reverse order, we get the chain on. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. So sometimes I actually bring my chainsaw up onto that angle. I put the chain into the sprocket, make sure it's housed there, and then I'm looking for the tensioning post. And sometimes you may have to reduce some of the tension using the tensioning screw there. Okay, and as you can see, it's just fallen down into that. Okay, and as you can see, the tensioning post is outside the bar there. Okay, it's in the bar and it's sitting flat. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to put side cover back on, side cover nuts on, finger tight to start with. Okay, and then I'm just going to lightly cinch it down. Now you don't want them too tight because you actually need them to be loose to use the tensioning screw. If you have the two side cover nuts too tight, then you can't actually manipulate the tensioning screw, which is actually attached to the tensioning post, and it won't move properly. Okay? So then we move it over onto, so it's actually vertical, the bar is vertical. And now, to tension the chain, what I want to do is I want to make sure that the chain, as you can see, is pretty loose and sloppy there. And that's what you'll see during cutting, it'll get loose. So what you want to do is have the raker, which is the bottom part of the chain, down, just touching the bar itself. So we're going to put the tension on there using the tensioning screw. And we're going to go around, tension up to there. I'm going to get there. Okay, and then what you'll find, I think that's fine there. We're then going to tighten the two side nuts again on the side cover to make the cover tight and flush up against the bar. Okay, and they don't have to be super tight. Like, get it to where you've gone to the tightest you can get it with just there, and then a little quarter turn. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so that has now got the bar and the chain on. It's tensioned. Now that is okay. And then what we'll do for the function test, final part, is let's see if it actually spins semi-freely. And if it doesn't, then it would be too tight. So that's fine because you can actually move the chain and you can see it actually spins freely. Okay, so that is, and then chain brake on, that is changing a chain and tensioning it correctly. Any questions?
No.
Okay, all right, what I'll get you to do is go down behind your saw, put your gloves on and grab your T-spanner and we'll actually go through it together. So first things first, I'll do it, and then when I say do that, then I'll get you to do it. So first things first, check the chain brake to make sure it is engaged. So do that. Yep, perfect. Okay, so the next step is the side nuts. Loosen them off, so lefty loosey, righty tighty. Let me demonstrate first, and then I'll get you to do it. So take them all the way off. And then put them down to the side. Okay, so So because mine I cut, and then the side cover off. So like that, do that. Yeah, so just remember it's lefty loosey, righty tighty. This might need a little bit more on the front one. You should be able to do it with your finger now. Yep, okay, cool. So just put that down to the side. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to remove the bar and the chain off the sprocket, like this. Okay, do that. So you may need to push it back towards the sprocket, yep. So then it will loosen the tension off the chain, yep. Okay, that's good. All right, so now what you've seen, okay, so I've actually looked at my steel bar and I've been using it, so I'm going to rotate it. So I'm going to take the chain off, and I rotate the bar, and then we get the new chain, and we put the new chain on like this, do that. Okay, so now just watch what I'm doing with this bit there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to hold that tight, the bar and the chain, tight, and I'm going to put it on the sprocket first. So place it on the sprocket, okay, and I'm going to rotate my power head over because I struggle to do it vertically. And it'll take a little bit of manipulation to get it in there, so don't stress if you can't get it in straight away, but you need to make sure that the chain is going into the sprocket and it's held there. And then one thing you may need to do is you may need to get your scrunch, release a bit of tension to get the actual tensioning post into the spot that it needs to be to allow it to fall in. You may need to just a little bit less. Okay, here it comes. There we go. And as you can see, that just fell into there. Okay, so do that. And then you can sort of rotate it over as well if you want. Okay, that's good. Yeah, just make sure that you've got it on that sprocket.
I might have done it backwards.
No, so those posts there are interchangeable, so you can actually flip the bar over. Okay, so it actually rotates, so you actually can have that both ways. That steel sign does not need to be up straight, facing up always. As you'll see, there's two post holes there, two tensioning post holes on top and bottom of the bar. So it's not upside down, it's actually, what you'll probably need to do is just take your T-spanner and loosen it off a little bit to get that tensioning post into the position that it needs to be. Okay, so that's fallen in there now, that's good. All right, so what the next thing you do is you get your side cover, you place your side cover on to your chainsaw, okay, and then finger tighten the nuts. So the side cover will actually hold the bar and chain in place. So like that. Like this, do that. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to tighten those, but we're not going to tighten them fully. We're not going to put too much tension on them because we still need the tensioning screw to be able to move the tensioning post, and you need the two nuts to be actually loosened to allow that, like this. Tighten them up a little bit. Just remember, it's righty-tighty. Get to where I need it to be. Okay, so do that. That looks good. All right, and as you can see, my chain is very loose there right now. And that's because I loosened off that the tensioning post quite a bit to get the bar on. So now I'm using the tensioning screw, and as you can see, the chain is actually tightening. Show that again. Okay, so now you can see the chain tightening there. Okay, and I'm pulling it so it is, as I pull the bar up, I want to get it just so the raker is inside the groove, and then I'm going to go that very small quarter turn there, and then tighten the nuts all the way. Just remember, like hand tight and then a little push down to get that tight. Like this, do that. So that looks like it just needs a little bit. Probably just needs that little quarter turn. Might need a little bit more than that. That's all right. Okay, as you can see, the chain's starting to come in there now. Okay. Right, there's that little quarter turn. And then what's the last thing you need to do?
I need to tighten the nuts.
Perfect. Yep, two side cover nuts need to be tightened then. And you'll actually find that will actually tension the chain up as well. That's good. So just flip it over there now. Okay, so the last part of this is the function test to make sure that it is actually moving, the chain is actually moving on the bar and is actually connected to the sprockets, because you actually want to do that before you start the chain up or the chainsaw up. So what we do, chain brake off, and you're actually going to release, just check the tension and see if the bar and chain roll smoothly. Like so, I'm very happy with that. So apply the chain brake, do that. Okay, so as you can see, there is something happening there. So put the chain brake back on, and you'll actually have to take off. It may be something to do with the sprocket. So you'll have to manipulate it first to see if it is the tension or if it's too tight. No, it's not too tight. So it might not be held off in the sprocket there. So what you'll need to do is take the side cover off. So undo the nuts and take that side cover off again. And we'll just check it to see. Okay, so now just have a look at the sprocket. Okay, see how it's sitting outside the sprocket there? You want that inside the sprocket, like so. Okay, see how that's inside the sprocket now? So it might have just popped out as we were trying to put it on. So let me just, well, I'll let you do that. I'll get you to just put the chain and bar back onto the sprocket. But just make sure it's into the groove on the inside. So I'll just point to it. So it's into that bit there. It was sitting on the outside there, so you want it on the inside closest to the clutch drum. Okay. None of that? Ah, look at that. Beautiful. I'll hold that there if you want to get a solid cover. Okay. And then the side nuts. So you can actually take some of that looseness out before you actually flip it over and get the perfect tension. Because you have to draw that tensioning post back so far to get it in, you can take a little bit of that tensioning off now, just like, because the nuts aren't tightened up or anything like that, you can actually take some of that tension. Probably a fair amount, because there was a fair amount taken off. There we go, it's just starting to come in now. Okay, so if you flip it over, okay, and now just tension it up as we previously taught. So are they, just make sure that they're, well, check your chain tension. Okay, so that still needs a little bit more, so tighten that up a little bit more. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So now just tighten the last piece, the nuts, side nuts. Okay, just remember once you've got that tightened and you're happy with the tension, the last thing, do your function test. Yep, chain brake off. There we go, look at that. Beautiful. Just like a board one. Okay, so chain brake on. There you go, that's changing and tensioning a chain on chainsaw. Okay, so what I'll get you to do now is change the chain on that chainsaw. So just remember, check that the chain brake is on first. Sorry, it is engaged before you do anything. So yeah, that's it, correct. Yeah, so just make sure it's on. Just get that muscle memory, always check that it's on. Okay? Perfect. So when you're putting the chain back on, what are you looking for, or how are you going to get it to make sure it's on the correct way? You don't have to use my method, but what is the best way to, or how are you going to know that it's on the right way?
The sleigh method, so
The sleigh method?
the presents are at the back,
Yep.
the tooth. and
Yep.
At the front is the smaller part of the tooth.
Okay, perfect. All right. You just need to make sure he's going, Santa goes out.
It's going right.
He's going out, yes, he's going away from the power head. He's going from the North Pole away. That was a good answer.
Thank you.
But yeah, other people have got their own methods, but yeah, I'm a visual learner, and that's the best way that I've managed to only put it on backwards every so often, because we all will. Yeah, and the main thing is making sure that at this stage is getting that sprocket and the chain, or the chain in the sprocket. Hopefully you don't have to tension it up too much to get that post in the right spot. But we'll see. Now, if you get to that stage and the chain is actually falling out and you find it hard to get it into the groove of the bar, then you can actually take the chain and bar off again, get it all grooved and then put it back in. Because the post has been moved to where it should be, you shouldn't have too much trouble getting it back in. See how you've actually got it to that perfect stage there? That was really good. So what's that showing you now?
Loose.
Okay.
Still loose.
Yeah. And so that's a beautiful thing of the function test. So then you've just got to take the pressure off the two side nuts, loosen them off, so you can actually access or loosen the tension off the tensioning screw there, and then you'll be able to tighten that up. Beautiful. So I like that function test as the final thing, just solely for that reason. It actually, yeah, you've seen in 2 cases, when you've done that function test, first time and what the chain wasn't on the sprocket correctly, so it wouldn't feed out, and then when you actually fed it out second time, it was loose, so the chain went all sloppy. So that's the importance of that function test. Because if you were to do that with the power head going after you'd started the chainsaw, what you'd find, that chain would have actually just flipped straight off, and you would have had to go through it all again. You don't really want that to occur. Yep, so chain break off. Yep. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Could be a little bit looser, because see how you've got to sort of really push, but that's fine. It would still run. Okay, chain break on. Engage, just push it forward. There we go. End of function test. Perfect. Okay, that was really good. Any questions?
No.
Okay, alright, so what we're going to do now is I want you to change the chain on that chainsaw and correctly tension it. Exactly what you just did. Just remember lefty loosey, righty tighty. If you have trouble. Yeah. That is the chain maintenance, being able to actually correctly change the chain and actually tension it. Have you got any questions?
No.
Okay. So like you saw, the main points to actually doing it is actually ensuring that the chain is actually on the sprocket correctly to allow the chain to run freely. And you find that out at the very end, like during your function test, and actually then doing the function test. Because that function test will show you if there is anything wrong with the chain or the bar at that final point. But yeah, that was really good. That was actually really, really good. But yeah, if you've got nothing further, the next thing we would be doing is we would then go on to the cold and hot starts of the chainsaw, and that would be in the next, say, day or so. Okay. Thank you very much, then.
Thank you.